Hello, and welcome on my channel, dear brothers of the universe. We'll continue now with the last episode of this extraordinarily important mini-series, which brings some wonderful revelations or keys about the new man. All of this was transmitted to us in the 70s by those who created us in their own image and likeness, as it is literally written in the Bible. And no, it's not about the supernatural God, but it's about people like us who come from a much more advanced civilization, about 25,000 years more advanced than ours. And now, finally, as we live in the age of apocalypse or revelation, the right time has come for people to discover and especially to understand all these huge revelations, which can be downloaded for free in full from the link provided in the description. And now, brothers and sisters, we arrive to the most exciting point or key, which reveals to us what the future might hold for those who do what is good most of their life. It's called the reward, and this is what it says. May this book guide those who recognize and love our creators, the Elohim. May it guide those who believe in them and who remember to communicate telepathically with them, thus rediscovering the original meaning of prayer. May it guide those who do good to their fellow human beings. May it guide those who believe in what has been revealed and to me and what has been revealed before me, and those who are sure that scientific reincarnation is a reality. All these people have a guide and an aim in life and are happy. As for those who are not awakened, it makes no sense to tell to them about this message from the Elohim. One who is asleep cannot hear, and the unconscious minds do not wake up in just a few moments, especially if the person who sleeps finds his or her sleep very comfortable. Spread this message around you to those who do good to their fellow human beings. Spread it especially to those who, using their mind, the mind that the Elohim gave them, free society from lack of food, disease, and the burden of daily efforts. They do this by giving others the time necessarily to fulfill themselves and blossom, and it is for such individuals that the fountained gardens of the planet of the Eternals are reserved. Because it is not enough just to avoid hurting others without doing them any good. Anyone whose life has been neutral will be called neutral. In other words, he will not be recreated, neither to pay for the crimes he did not commit, nor to receive the reward for the non-existent good deeds. Anyone who has made many people suffer during their lifetime and who then rehabilitates themselves by doing as much good as the evil they have committed will also be neutral. In order to have the right to the scientific reincarnation on the planet of the Eternals, that person will have to have a truly positive behavior at the end of his life. Being satisfied doing good on a small scale around oneself, it is enough for a person who does not have superior intelligence or who does not have many means, but it is not enough for someone who has many means. A very intelligent person has the duty to use his mind given by the Elohim to bring happiness to others, to invent new techniques to improve their living conditions. Those who will be chosen for scientific recreation on the planet of the Eternals will live in a world where food will be brought to them without having to make the slightest effort, and where there will be scientifically created female and male partners for the sole purpose of satisfying their pleasures. They will live here forever, seeking only to fulfill themselves and doing whatever they like. As for those who have made others suffer, they will also be recreated, and their suffering will be equal to the pleasure of the Eternals. How can you not believe in all this now that science and ancient religions are coming together perfectly? You are nothing but matter, mere dust, and yet the Elohim have transformed you into living beings capable of dominating matter. Later, you'll become again matter or dust, and they will make you live once more as they created you scientifically. The Elohim created the first human beings without knowing that they were doing the same thing that had already been done for them. They thought that they were doing a minor scientific experiment, and that's why they destroyed almost all of humanity the first time. But when they understood that they were created just like us, they began to love us just like their own children and swore never to try to destroy us again, leaving us to overcome our own violence by ourselves. You, the one who smiles as you read these lines, you are among those who will have crucified Jesus if you had lived in his time. And still, now, you want to see your family members being born, married, and dying under his emblem because it has become a part of your morality and tradition. Behaving like those who went to see the first Christians devoured by lions, you throw ironic smiles at those who believe in these writings, saying that they should spend some time in a psychiatric hospital. Nowadays, when someone has disturbing ideas, he is no longer crucified. That is too barbaric. Instead, such people are sent to psychiatric hospitals. If these complexes had existed 2000 years ago, Jesus and all who believed in him will have been imprisoned there. As for those who believe in eternal life, ask them why they cry when they lose a loved one. As long as mankind was not able to understand the work of the Elohim from a scientific point of view, it was understood that people believed in an impalpable God. But now, when thanks to science you can understand matter, infinity large and infinity small, you have no excuse to believe in the God that your primitive ancestors believed in. Elohim, our creators, intends to be recognized by those who are capable now to understand how life can be created and who can make the appropriate comparisons with ancient writings. Those people will have the right to eternity. Christians, you have read 100 times that Jesus will return. However, if he returns now, you'll put him in a psychiatric hospital. Come on, open your eyes. Children of Israel, you are still waiting for the Messiah, and yet you do not open the door. Buddhists, your writings indicate that the new Buddha will be born in the West. Recognize the anticipated signs. Muslims, Muhammad reminded you that the Jews made a mistake in killing the prophets and that the Christians also made a mistake in worshipping their prophet more than the one who sent him. So welcome to the last of the prophets and love those who sent him. If you recognize Elohim as your creators, and if you love and want to welcome them, if you try to do good to other people using your full potential, if you think about your creators regularly, trying to make them telepathically to understand that you love them, if you help the guide of guides to accomplish his mission, you will without a doubt be chosen for the scientific reincarnation on the planet of the Eternals. When mankind discovered the forms of energy needed to travel to the moon, it also came into possession of enough energy to destroy all life on Earth. The hour has drawn near, and the moon is rent asunder, is written in the Quran, Surah 54, verse 1. Therefore, any day now, mankind can destroy itself. Only those who follow the last of the prophets will be saved from destruction. For a long time, people did not believe Noah and laughed at him as he made preparations for the destruction. But they did not have the last laugh. When the Elohim told the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah to leave the cities without looking back, some did not follow these warnings and were destroyed. Now that we have reached the stage where humanity itself can destroy all life on earth, only those who will recognize the Elohim as our creators will be saved from destruction. You might not believe any of this, but when the time comes, you'll think about these lines again and it will be too late. When the cataclysm takes place, and there is a good chance it will happen soon due to the way human beings behave today, there will be two sorts of people. Those who did not recognize their creators and did not follow the last of the prophets, and the others who opened their eyes and ears and recognized what was announced long time ago. The former will go through suffering and destruction in the final moment, and the latter will be saved and taken with the guide of guides to the planet of Eternals. There they will enjoy a marvelous life of fulfillment and pleasure together with the sages of ancient times. They are the ones who will be expected by magnificent athletes with wonderful body structures that will bring them sophisticated food to savor, and in the company of men and women of unparalleled beauty and fascination who will be entirely compliant to their desires. Seated on couches wrought with gold and jewels, reclining thereon on facing each other, there will wait on them youths who will not age, carrying goblets and ewers and cups filled out of a flowing spring. No headache will they get therefrom, nor will they be intoxicated, and carrying such fruits as they choose, and flesh of birds as they might desire, and there will be fair maidens with white, lovely eyes, like pearls we preserved as a reward for what they did. The Quran, Surah 56, verses 15-24. You who believe in all that is written here, when the guide of guides summons you somewhere, leave everything aside, because it means that he had received some information about the end. If you are close to him at that moment, you'll be saved and taken with him away from suffering. You who believe, do not judge the deeds of the Elohim. The created has no right to judge the creator. Respect our prophet and do not judge his actions and work, for we hear through his ears, we see through his eyes, and we speak through his mouth. If you do not show respect to the prophet, you do not respect those who send him, our creators. The messages that were given long ago by the Elohim were correct, and all those who have fully adhered to them over the centuries were right. But the obscurantist system that was built on the backs of these messages, using those who felt something for them, was wrong. The church is in the process of disappearing and deserves to disappear. As for the man and woman of the church, let those who have their ears and eyes open follow the last of the prophets and help him spread the last message that has been handed to him. He will welcome them with open arms, and they will be able to blossom and fulfill themselves completely, while they will remain the messengers of those in whom they have always believed. But this time they will finally understand what the tasks of the Elohim was when they created mankind and when they sent Jesus. They will be able to fulfill themselves far from the constraints of the church, which is fossilized and encrusted with crimes and inquisitions thousands of years old. They will be able to do what they must do, make use of their organs the creators gave them, because our creators do not like us failing to use the organs they gave us. The man and woman of the church will be able to enjoy their five senses and unite physically forever or for immediate pleasure with anyone they like without feeling guilty. Now they should feel guilty of not using what was given to them by their creators. But released from their old constraints, they will be truly open people's minds instead of putting them to sleep. Now it is difficult to find any students in the Roman Catholic seminaries where the priests are trained, but even there are some unhappy people who feel the vocation to spread love and open people's minds. 50 years ago, about 50,000 seminarists were trained at any time, but now there are only 500 left. This means that there are at least 49,500 unhappy people, human beings who have the potential to radiate the truth and harmony placed in them by our creators, but who are not attracted to a church shrouded in crime and darkness. You, the one who is among the 49,500 people who feel the need to spread the truth and do something for your fellow people, you, the one who wants to remain faithful to your creators and to Jesus, who told you to love one another and to respect your creators, the Father who art in heaven, you who feel that this message is true, come with us and become guides. Come and devote yourself to the Elohim in the tradition of Moses, Elijah, and Jesus, and to the spreading of their message while continuing to live a normal life, truly fulfilling yourself and enjoying all the senses that your creators gave you. You, who are currently members of the church, take off those clothes that are as sad as their color, the color of the crimes that were committed under their facade. Come with us and become guides for humanity on the path of universal love and peace. Set aside these churches that are nothing more than monuments built by primitive people, temples where they could worship things of no value, pieces of wood or metal. Elohim do not need temples in any city to feel loved. It is enough for human beings to try to communicate with them telepathically, thus rediscovering the original meaning of prayer, opening to infinity instead of isolating themselves in obscure, mystical stone buildings. The hypocrisy and mystification have lasted long enough. Using sincere messages as their base, organizations were built and grew fat on them, sitting in misplaced luxury and using people's fears to achieve their own ends. Wars were even waged under the pretext of spreading these messages abroad. Shame! The money of the poor was used to build a strong financial base. Shame! Love for one's neighbor was preached with weapons in hand. Shame! Human equality was preached while supporting dictatorships. Shame! God is with us was said to encourage people to engage in fratricidal wars. Shame! The following passages from the Gospel have often been mentioned. And call no man your father on earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Matthew chapter 23 verse 9. Yet in the church they make sure to be constantly called Father and Monsignor and my Lord. Shame! Other texts have been read again and again that say, provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves. Matthew chapter 10 verses 9-10. And yet they have been wallowing in the luxury of the Vatican. Shame! The Pope, if he does not sell all the properties of the Vatican to help unfortunate people, will not be admitted among the righteous on the planet of the Eternals. It is shameful to wallow in the luxury realized on the backs of the poor, using real messages and exploiting the births, marriages, and deaths of human beings. If all these changes, and if these people who were part of this monstrous organization without understanding their mistake now leave it and regret their mistake, they will be forgiven and entitled to eternity, because the Elohim, our creators, love us and forgive all those who sincerely regret their errors. The Church has no reason to exist any longer, for it was entrusted to spread the message of Jesus in anticipation of the years of revelation, and this age has now come. The Church has also used methods of disseminating information that are a shame to it. Although it has accomplished his mission, the Church will be tried for all his crimes, and those who still wear his blood-stained clothes will be among those found guilty. Wake up, slumberer that you are! This is no fabricated story. Reread all the writings of the ancient prophets, learn about the latest scientific discoveries, especially in biology, and look at the sky. The predicted signs are there. The UFOs, unidentified flying objects, which mankind has dubbed flying saucers, are appearing every day. There will be signs in the sky. That was written a long time ago. As soon as you find out about these things, integrate them all in your mind and wake up. Claude Rael exists. He is truly alive, and he did not write what Moses, Ezekiel, Elijah, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, or anyone else wrote. He is not a biologist, but he is the last of the prophets, the prophet of revelation, that is, the time when everything can be understood. He lives among you right now. You are lucky enough to be one of his contemporaries, and you are able to receive his teaching. Wake up! Put yourself together and get to the road. Go and see him and help him. He needs you. You'll be some of the pioneers of the final religion, the religion of religious, and you will have your place. Whatever happens, among the righteous for eternity, enjoying the delights of the planet of the Eternals in the company of wonderfully pleasant beings who are ready to fulfill all your desires. Dear brothers and sisters, this is the end of this mini-series, so please like and share this video or express your opinions in the comment section, and I invite you to subscribe to the channel as well, where I post about every week, and on the screen you should be able to see right now a very interesting playlist where you can discover more other fantastic things, and of course we can communicate in private if you wish, my contact details being provided in the description. All my love to all, and see you in the next videos.